some areas.
We did run offense. I was disappointed in the first half. We refused to run. When we end up with ball screens and dribble handoffs and don't really scratch the surface of what's available for us offensively. And the second half was a little bit better, but we still don't. We've got to get better running offense. Played harder. No, we did play harder. Our transition defense was better. And we were able to get some guys in the game that need to play.
I'll talk a little bit about KJ and his career, rebounding, scoring tonight.
Well, I said on the radio that when it's all said and done, he theoretically could be in the top 10 all-time scorers and the top 10 all-time rebounders. He is right now the all-time leading offensive rebounder. Second leading scorer, second leading rebounder, I think, on the Final Four team. He's had a Hall of Fame career. You know, when it's all said and done, he's had a Hall of Fame career. You look at guys who are in the top 10 in scoring and rebounding, and those guys are Hall of Fame guys. You know, and, he's worked so hard. He's such a wonderful guy. I mean, he's just, you can't imagine what a good guy he is and how good he is to deal with every day. And that's not just people on the basketball staff. That's everybody in the Coliseum. That's all the faculty that have had him. Everybody raves about what a good guy he is. And he's what everybody would want, their son to be, or you wish you had all of them were like him. Obviously they're not, but and just got a wonderful pair of hands. Just a great pair of hands.
Bob, do you get on him sometime for paddies on the stats by missing dunks?
Yeah, I did today. He pulled a Fortson today. Danny'd do that. Danny'd crotch one once in a while just so he could rebound it and score it again. Then acted like I didn't know what he was doing. But honestly, I think he's a little tired. A day off would do him a lot of good.
Bob, that one trait, though, can rub off on a lot of guys. It's an effort thing, and just rebounding in general. What has that done for guys in your teams throughout the couple of years? Just seeing that and how he's made himself that.
Well, he listens. I think that's the best thing. He listens. He's done an unbelievable job with his body. He was 215 pounds when he came in here. He's been blessed with a wonderful pair of hands. I mean, you just don't see him. Some of our guys look like seals, batting balls around, and he's if it's close, he gets it, and he's really learned to use his body well. He's how much it rubs off on guys, I'm not sure, but he's special. I mean, he is a special guy.
What's the one trait rebounders have that puts them all together?
They all got great hands. The great rebounders have great hands. The great rebounders I've had have had great hands. Which Bob, which honestly is probably the most important trait. I mean, you think about guys that we consider some of the great offensive rebounders of all time. Moses Malone wasn't a big jumper. Paul Silas certainly wasn't a big jumper. Dennis Rodman wasn't a big jumper, but they had great hands. And when the ball was anywhere near their area, they could get a ball on it, they rebounded it. And I think KJ is much the same.
All right, it was kind of inconsistent tonight in scoring. Is that a problem?
I thought he was really good today.
I'm sorry.
I thought he was really good today.
Well, he didn't score too much the first half.
Well, I didn't want him to. I don't want him to force things. I thought he really forced things the Kent game. Made some really bad decisions, and he's got to let the game come to him. And he did. I mean, he gets 18 points, and there's nothing wrong with that. He let the game come to him instead of forcing things. And I thought he was good. I thought he was good defensively. Took pretty good care of the ball. I thought he made good decisions in transition. I think this was probably the best that he's been all year.
So do when your point guard gets 12 rebounds.
It means we're blocking out, which is a good thing. A lot of those balls bounced on the floor, which means that we had bodies on people, which is, that's a heck of an improvement.
Decision to put Paul in the game, was that due to defensive lapses, or you needed another shooter, or burned it?
No, Paul's comes in and listens and tries to do what he's supposed to do, and some of those guys still, I think they're going to out-stubborn me. And I just want to make sure they understand they're not. And you know, Paul can make shots. Paul can make shots, and he's going to play hard. You know what he's going to give you. Some of those guys, when you don't know what you're going to get from them, it makes it harder. You know, when you have somebody you know what you're going to get. If he gets an open shot, he's got a great chance to make it. He's not going to force things. He's not going to, over penetrate and lose the ball. You know, he's got a few deficiencies at the defensive end, but he works really, really hard. And I've had a lot of guys like that at the end of the day, they end up being pretty good defenders. And I had a guy at Cincinnati, I told him, I said, man, I'll tell you, when you go in a game, it's like you got a green light, that just goes around and says, take me to the basket, take me to the basket. And he got beat every time. And ended up, at the end of the day, he was one of our better on-the-ball defenders. But he was, like Paul, was a great kid, worked at it, worked hard, made shots. Couldn't dribble, didn't. Those guys you can deal with. There's the guys that think they can and can't. You know what I mean? It's the guys that can't dribble, try. Guys try to make plays that can't. Those guys drive you nuts.
How was Gary better?
At the end of the day, I drive them nuts.
How was Gary better today?
Played so much harder.
Yeah.
So much more assertive. I think, Mike, honestly, all those guys, and I went in at halftime, and I told Kevin Noreen, I said, Sweat, you're not, my recollection of Sweat last year was going in the Minnesota game and just, creating havoc, was really active, got his hands on balls, offensive rebounded. He hadn't done that. And today he did that again. And that's how he has to be for us. He just can't stand around. I told Pat Forsythe that was our second best rebounder in Europe, when we went to Italy, next to KJ. And then, he's batting balls around like a seal, and in the first half. And he just, he's got to play in a stance. He's going to get bumped. You're in there, you're going to get bumped. And I thought he did a better job. I thought he played so much stronger. And he got a rebound that nobody else in the gym could get, I think. He went out of his area to go get one. That's what we got to have from those guys. We got to have them be active. Now the next thing I think is tell Pat he doesn't have to shoot it when he rebounds it every time. He can't pass it down there. But I thought they were I thought Keaton Miles was much more active. And that's what Gary was. Gary was so much more active, but I think the rebounding part of it was, Gary's probably our best guy at getting to the ball, but we did a good job blocking out. Most of those rebounds really were balls that bounced on the floor.
Coach, sorry, go ahead.
I know it's early, you got a lot of things to work on. What would you prioritize? What's the number one thing that this team has to do to get better?
Stop throwing the ball to the other team. We can live with throwing it out of bounds some, but you can't throw it to the other team for layups. You can't guard that. And that's killed us. We've come down and thrown right to them, for no reason. We've got to get that fixed. And I said last night, the rebounding thing's easier because that's all effort. It's just getting them to go. If you go enough, you're going to get some. But the other is there's some skill involved to it. They're just not used to. They're not used to the athleticism and the length they play against now. So you've got to actually pass the ball. You can't throw it. You've got to get better.
Going back to KJ, 29-13 is probably too much to expect from him for an entire season, but does he need to be the focal point for this team to find success?
Well, I don't know if he's going to get 29, but he's got to get 13.
Yeah.
I think he had more than 13. I mean, it seemed to me he had more than 3 rebounds in the second half. So somebody must have paid the stat crew, Pat Darris. I thought big number 5 got his hands on more than 3 of them in the second half. But he just got to be, he's got to do what he does. And he had open shots today, and he made them, and that's what he's going to do. He's not, we're not, KJ in no way, shape, or form is going to get 29, but he can get 13.
Is his leadership helping you get some of these?
He's been great, man. He's been terrific. And the thing about KJ is, he wasn't very vocal. He's gotten a lot more vocal. But then they see what he does and how he works. He's a guy. We got guys, man. You look around, where in the hell they go? They're over there tying their shoes. They found every which way there is to get out of practice. KJ's never out. No, he's like Deshaun was. He's never out of practice. We got other guys, man. They got. It's almost like clockwork when they go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's every day. Personally, I'm not that regular. And but you know what they're doing. They're trying to get out of practice. That's all. So,
And you see
anything
that
you're
he's
done.
helping them with his leadership.
Oh, absolutely he is. Absolutely he is. And when he talks, they listen.
Confidence-wise for your team, was it good to have this win 2 days after that loss to Kent State?
Can we be honest? Who looked at the schedule didn't think we'd win this one? Let's be honest. And I didn't. I told them that. I don't lie to them. And that's what the older guys will tell the freshmen. If he says they're good, now they're good. And if they're not, he'll tell you they're not.
Anything else? Thank you.